Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have Nathan Bray. Thank you so much for coming along on the video.
Always.
We're going to be talking about RBA as well as the breaking news from Bank of Japan in Japan, all right, about the Japanese yen. So stay with us until the end. We do have some of the peculiar things I would say to talk about, and this is why I got Nathan Bray here with me today, because he's a master on technical analysis, and we will be discussing some trades.
And I'm dressing up for the occasion. I'm wearing my no need to iron Uniqlo shirt, thanks to the Bank of Japan.
That's a promo right there for Japanese companies. But yes, guys, so please give us a thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the channel, and again, stay with us until the end so you don't miss anything. All right, let's get into it. Nathan, what do you think about the RBA? It was a pretty interesting scenario we got from the Reserve Bank of Australia today at 2:30. I will leave this with you first because Bank of Japan is a little bit complicated, and I would like to touch base a little bit more on that.
Okay.
But we've seen Australian dollar just collapsing at same time, and you know, as you guys know, if you have watched already the podcast I've done with Nathan, we sit in front of each other, and the conversation was pretty cool, right? You were saying me that they don't know what to do or something like that. So please, all yours.
The Reserve Bank of Australia has done nothing once again. So normally they have a bias. They do nothing, but then they have a bias to say inflation needs to be fought, we need to keep tight, and this is our goal and this is what we're trying to achieve.
Yes.
Today's changed, okay, which I believe is providing even more opportunities to look for a weaker Aussie, especially against the US, okay?
Correct.
So they haven't moved interest rates up or down.
Yep.
However, they came out, and I think the board's statement was they don't rule anything in and they don't rule anything out. So they've got no idea as to the direction they might go. They may need to raise in the future, and they'll be completely data dependent on what is coming out, and at this stage, looking at the entire globe,
yes,
okay, from that perspective, or even just the data coming out in Australia,
yes,
they don't rule anything in and they don't rule anything out. So when I look at that, I think of it as further weakness in line with the longer term trend, shorting this Aussie, as every good Aussie would do or has been doing for the last few years. In fact, I don't even know where the buy button is on the Aussie. I am looking for retracements to smack that thing on the head.
Yeah, nice. If you allow me, Nathan, I have it here, the last paragraph from the RBA statement. I will read it loud so then you guys can know what Nathan was talking about. So it goes from that. While recent data indicate that inflation is easing, that's true.
Yes.
Well, first of all, we can't forget about that we had inflation at January 2023 at 8%.
Sure.
We came all the way from 8% now to 4.20%.
Okay.
So that's nearly a 50% decrease, but still a lot to do. Still
a lot to do. Still too high.
Yes.
Okay.
It remains high.
Yes.
The board expects that it will be some time yet before inflation is sustainable in the target range. The target range is 1 to 2%. The path of interest rates that will best ensure that inflation returns to target in a reasonable time frame remains uncertain.
Uncertain on time frame.
And the board is not ruling anything in or anything out.
They got no idea.
Yes.
Are they going to flip a coin?
Oh,
is what they're going to do?
That would be a good option, actually. And then there goes, the board will rely upon the data and the involving assessment of risks.
Sure.
The board will continue to pay close attention to developments in the global economy, trends in domestic demand, and the outlook for inflation and the labor market. To finalize, they cite, the board remains resolute in its determinations to return inflation to target. Wow.
They just don't know whether it's going to be in or out.
Wow, it's like, all right, so it's
there's no video ref that we can go to.
Yes, it's like
in the present.
If you live in Sydney, you can rely with me. you most probably use a Google GPS or Apple GPS or whatever GPS you use, Waze or anything. And you get under the tunnel.
Right.
You lose signal. You don't know where you're going. You don't know where you're going. You can enter in Sydney and you can get off in Canberra.
Wow.
You just don't know.
Good tunnel.
Good tunnel, right? You don't know where you're going. So I just feel like RBA, it's a little bit uncertain.
It's uncertain, but
yes,
using that same analogy,
yes,
with the one thing you know about a tunnel and this Aussie dollar is that you might know where you're going, but you're definitely going down.
oh, definitely going down. And
you're going down underwater. That's where you're going.
I have the numbers right here. Yesterday, yesterday we were trading at 65,720 cents. Today, we're trading at 65,200 cents. That is a 300, decimal cents drop. So that's pretty much 1% drop on Australian dollar since yesterday. And
they did nothing.
And they did nothing, yeah.
Imagine when they do something.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
How far could this thing fall?
Yes.
And if they don't get this inflation under control,
yes,
and the economy does start to weaken further,
yes,
okay, iron ore prices are definitely correcting hard. Just how far can this Aussie dollar fall at this stage is where my thinking's at. And technically the longer term trend is down. So that would be my thinking at this stage. And I don't see anything dramatic changing. Sure, if the Fed comes out this week and starts cutting, then all that in my mind will do is provide a higher level to start shorting this Aussie dollar.
It's pretty. As you touch it on that, it's pretty hard for the Fed come in and cut this week. Pretty hard.
Sure.
I had to be very bad on what I do to get
And I don't
wrong.
think that's happening. I'm saying, yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right, guys. So now, hope everything is clear from the RBA.
Sure.
If you have any questions, please put down in the comments. I will make sure to answer those questions. Now, going to Japan.
Please.
What a surprise, Nathan. What a surprise. If you have watched Peter Pan as well podcasts, I've done multiple times with him, more than a couple of times. I think I've done 3 times. It's a fantastic podcast. If you haven't watched, please go to it. And if you have been until here, please, again, subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up on this video. It shows YouTube that you really like the content, and then it spread to other people on the same interest as on the financial market. Now, first of all, the BOJ, Bank of Japan, was to be done the meeting at 2:30, right?
Okay.
2:30, first of all.
Yep.
2:30 came in, nothing happened. 2:40 came in, nothing happened. 3 o'clock came in, nothing happened. 3:15 came in, nothing happened.
They love to keep us waiting, right?
3:30, 1 hour later,
okay,
something came in. And I'm pleased to announce that the BOJ have got out from the negative interest rate policy that they have been since 2007.
Yes, that would have been you would have been 6.
Yes. So,
you would have been just starting primary school.
Yeah, I was actually.
That's how long.
I was 6 years old.
That's how long they've been negative.
Yeah, so that's a lot of years right there. Since 2007 now to 2024, they changed the interest rates. So that were called the NIRP. They even made a name because it was so long on there that they called it negative interest rates policy. And Japan was the only one with that, all right? On the G10 group, at least. Now, I have the numbers here. Is the vote for 7 against 2. So 7 of the people on the meeting, so 7 of the chairs, they voted to hike, and only 2 voted to not hike. All right, so that was a very clear hike, very clear hike. But
and it's not a democracy, is that what we're saying?
So something interesting here is that they were on the yield curve control, and that made me think about, okay, so yield curve control, if you don't know what it is a roof, so the rates can go above that.
Right.
But if they want to raise rates, they need to get off from this yield curve control. Otherwise, the yielding curve, the rate curve, can't go over it. Right? And right now, the yielding curve control was at 0.8%.
And that's bond purchasing.
Yeah, correct. You're definitely correct. Japanese government bonds. That's definitely correct. So what have they done? They've exited from the yield curve control. That was the smartest thing to be done. And then they've hiked the interest rates, right? Why they've done that is, if they still on the yield curve control, it's like you trying to run a marathon, right? But you have chains attached to your legs that it's only 100 meters.
You've got the brake and the accelerator on at the same time.
Yes, that's a very good one as well.
Cool donuts, lots of smoke, but
lots of nothing happening. You know, it can be like an old Corolla trying to do something. Nothing happened. So that was pretty much it from the Japan. Now, when we look at the USDJPY, because you know it's the bigger boy there, we've came all the way. Let me have the numbers here for you, and I don't get it wrong. So right now we are trading at 150, 330. That's the price right now. On 7th of March, so pretty much first week of this month,
so 2 weeks.
We were trading at 146,700. So we nearly 1,000, you know, nearly, sorry, not more than 1,000. We nearly 3,000 higher than what we started this month pretty much, so 2 weeks ago. And then when we comes to this is, will the USDJPY keep rising? My question is, why did the yield curve control as well as a hike on the interest rates policy didn't done anything positive for the Japanese yen? I know the answer, of course. I know the answer.
Tell me the
answer here is, it's pretty simple, okay? Last week, I have here the data so I don't get it wrong. So last week, we had a bit of a leakage from a website called Nikkei Leaks. Right, Nikkei Leaks is the Japan stock, and they call it Nikkei Leaks. So therefore, we did had some leaks, some insider information saying that they would hike the interest rates. So therefore, the market was already prepared because this source it's very reliable.
Gotcha.
Very, very reliable. We all know that the Bank of Japan, it's very different from the RBA, for instance, that they
There's no forward guidance.
Yes,
is
correct.
There? It's a surprise.
It's a surprise.
It's a surprise party.
Exactly. You don't know what
like
time.
you would have had when you were 6, right? When it started.
Yeah, correct. We don't even know what time it's going to be. They say it's going to be
true.
something. Oh, no, it's not going to be that time.
Yeah.
We're going to finish our tea, and then we see what do we do here. Play some ping pong, you know, and then we go from there.
I was looking at a short position on the Aussie yen as well as Aussie dollar at the time. And because you kind of had bad news coming out effectively on the Aussie, but you also now had kind of negative news coming out in the yen, it was like two drunk people fighting each other. I was watching it going, what is actually happening here? It was pretty awful.
Yes.
But the Aussie dollar was very clear, and no doubt the dollar yen was very clear.
Yeah, very clear. So you know, just to wrap up everything here, Japanese yen will maintain the weakest instance. So for those who thought that the Japanese yen would keep stronger, I'm along USDJPY. Anything that happens in Japan won't surpass this. Unfortunately, I don't even have words to say this really bad monetary policy that they've discussed for ages, and they can't even decide what they do, same as RBA.
Okay, and is it a global stance we're taking now?
Yes.
There is a global recession potentially looming.
You know why?
Looming, and we need... Everyone's going to be affected in a similar fashion. The scariest thing I'm seeing technically is on a daily, this US dollar was putting in lower tops and bottoms, starting to form this scenario. But potentially after today, we could see this US dollar, you know, starting to get back inside that range as opposed to like above this 103 level on the dollar index.
Yep.
relative strength to other currencies. So is that potentially going to add some more support to your dollar yen trade as well, right?
I do think so.
Wow.
I bought it like a few minutes before the release.
Yep.
And I just still holding my long position on there.
You didn't tell me.
Short.
You know why you didn't tell me? Because we didn't know when it was going to happen.
Yeah, true. Short on euro dollar is still maintaining my short on there.
Right.
Pretty
Okay.
nice pullback on there for the
Yep.
moment. But yeah, that's all my portfolio running at the moment. And of course, I'm looking to short Aussie dollar as well, same as you do.
Sure.
So
New Zealand on top of that too.
Oh, New Zealand,
the
brothers
and sister kind of trade there as well.
Correct.
Could be an option.
Correct.
The Aussie might fall initially, and we may need to wait for a setup on that New Zealand if you've missed it. But
Yep.
Yeah.
And I have a question for you.
Oh, there we go.
You ready?
I am ready.
Okay. There's a few rumors going now about.
I was young. I needed the money.
Okay.
No, not. Oh, different rumor.
No, different
Sorry.
rumor. Different
Got you.
rumor. You didn't have to do that, but different rumor. Jake Paul. Jake Paul
Oh.
and Mike Tyson.
Wow. Well,
That's a big trade there, man.
That's the Aussie against the Japanese yen, right?
Yeah. Ooh, what do you think? Who's the big winner?
I want Mike Tyson to win,
Cool.
right? Just because the other guy has two first names, and we all know they could be serial killers. So Jake and Paul, I'm not a massive fan, but I do remember getting possibly my first beer
Oh, wow.
when a young Mike Tyson was about 18 years old.
Wow.
And you got free beers until the end of the fight.
Oh, wow.
And Mike Tyson won it in about 5 seconds, so no one got free beers.
That was a very.
I thought, man, that's a serious fighter there, right? So,
All right, yeah, I'm still with Mike Tyson as well.
you're Mike Tyson?
Yeah, Mike Tyson.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Go there. Is he the underdog though? What would you say is your reason? Is it sentimental?
Look, we have a very similar guy in Brazil called Popó.
Okay.
And a guy same as Mike Tyson, very similar, very good, have been world champion already multiple times.
Right.
And we have a guy very similar to Jake Paul in Brazil as well, and they fight it last month, 27th of last month.
I see.
The fight was 36 seconds.
Oh.
So of course the guy same as Mike Tyson won. It was so quick that I'm just hoping to be the same with Mike Tyson and Jake Paul.
Look, if Mike Tyson starts to lose,
Yep.
the good advantage is he'll probably try and bite his ear.
Yeah,
It'll be, I think the winners are the audience,
Yep.
both young and old, and I think it's going to be beautifully hyped up and lots of entertainment.
Yep.
So,
That's definitely.
I really am looking forward to it.
Like the RBA Netflix series.
Oh,
We need to see the next episodes. All right, guys, we stay
Thank
from
you.
here. Thank you all. And if you don't know, we are running a webinar tonight. Well, I'm running a webinar. When do you have your webinar on? Do you still have your
It's
webinar?
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night. I'm going to have tonight from 6 to 7. So if you haven't registered yet to my one, you can go to the link down here, or you can go to the ACY website and register for mine. And as you there, you register for these beautiful, handsome young men here. What are you going to be talking to?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because I think I've got a new webinar series. I'm sort of bouncing around inside my brain. I was going to ask you some questions about it. But what I'm thinking is, a bit like Mike Tyson right now, right?
Yep.
He needs to say, I don't have a long period. I need to get fit and ready. What does he need to do, right, in a short period of time? So a lot of the questions I get from clients is about, rather than spending 1 million hours on YouTube learning every different facet of trading, what I'm thinking is you need to be able to be ready to trade in 3 30-minute sessions.
3 30 minutes?
3 30 minutes. It's a competition. I'm going to hit you with what I think are the 5 most essential things to understand to allow people to at least get started trading.
Yep.
Okay. Obviously, you can, you can
improve
learn a lot more.
Yep.
You can go into hours and hours of understanding, but that will be my focus. Let's just get a trading ready in 3 30-minute webinar sessions. So
awesome.
That will be coming out soon.
Definitely. All right, guys. So if you like that idea, please subscribe to Nathan's webinar. And we stay from here, guys. Have a nice week ahead and be careful because there is lots of volatility on the market this week.
Absolutely. Have a great one, everybody.